Season 3, you know me. Season 3, you know me. Oh my goodness. I'm so excited to say we are in season 3 of Fannytastic Life. Booming, making just money moves, right? Oh my goodness. Well, feeling great about it and feeling amazing about it. We have mad new podcasts to share with you guys, blogs, Twitch, everything that everyone's been asking for. And on top of that, what else do we have? We have apparel. Go to TeePublic, Fannytastic Life, or Rage On, Fannytastic Life, our 2 stores. You will love the stuff that we have. It all relates to our podcasts and our blogs and our Twitch streams. Our Twitch TV show, Fantastic Life, on Thursdays. Not every Thursday, but most Thursdays. And we're just going ahead and having such a great time. We want you to reach out. Thank you so much for all the feedback we're getting at fannytasticlife@gmail.com. Appreciate that. And all the comments on the blog. Love it. Definitely, I hear your feedback, and I'm trying to make all the podcasts and blogs just to what you're asking for, and reflecting that and keeping it in the same spirit of looking for our full circle, that light in the shinings that we always try to find when we're going through our roughest times, and trying to figure out what exactly is the purpose of our journey and how do we maintain. I know how I maintain in my Fannytastic life. Thank you so much, and check out this new post. Good day. How are you? Amazing. I want to talk to you today about things that happen that you can't control. Mishaps. OMJ. Like everything's going great, you're about to go to work, and then all of a sudden you spill your coffee all over your shirt. Or you're on the highway, you're doing what you can, and what happens? You're out of gas. These mishaps happen. And I always wonder why, right? Is it a coincidence? Or is it a meant to be? Or was I the lucky one chosen that the bird pooped on my head because it's a 1 in a million chance and I was chosen? What's going on with these mishaps? Well, that's what we're talking about today on this journey of Fantastic Life. Stay tuned. We'll be right back. Let's get in it. Oh my goodness. So real quick, funny story. The other day, it was Halloween, but it was over, right? And I decided to go with Day of the Dead look. As they call this, a Catrina look. With the black eyes, there's a big giant black circles, a skull, but beautiful flowers. So I went for this look. I was like, I'm gonna do it up, girlfriend. And we can't go trick-or-treating, but we did go just seeing with the kids, driving around, looking at all the beautiful Halloween decoration, which I just love. And then we decided to go to a restaurant. So, I'm blind as a bat and a Halloween bat. So I wore my glasses. And, as everybody who knows me knows, I love the color pink and I love the color neon green. But when it comes to my fashion, I'm always in black and white stripes, houndstooth, checkerboard. I love black and white. I just do. I love the contrast. I love wearing those colors. So I decided to wear my black and white glasses. And also, they're so comfortable. So I wore them. By the way, they're from iBuyDirect.com. Great. We'll talk about that on another post, but just wanted to give them a shout out because I love their deals. So I'm wearing these glasses. I feel great. Everything's great. Blah, blah, blee, blah, blue. Moving on. Life happens, right? So now it's Wednesday of the following week and I have a doctor's appointment and I go to drive my son to school and there's nobody there. It turns out his school is closed. So I knew that it was closed for election day. And on Thursday and Friday, there was a teacher's conference in town, but I didn't realize about Wednesday. So I was like, all right. You just have to come with me on all my appointments today. I got to go to my doctor's appointment, the store, get gas. And my little son, he's a trooper. He's like, okay, mommy, no problem. And then he said, yo, can I get Dunkin' Donuts if I'm a good boy? And I was like, sure. So we go through about the day, we go everywhere, and I get to the first stop, which is my doctor's appointment. And I walk in, and let me tell you, I felt fresh to fabulous. I didn't feel, quite star-like, but I did feel fresh to fabulous. My outfit was cute. I felt like I did a good job. My hair was complete. And I didn't feel horrible, but I walk in and everyone's looking at me like there's something wrong. And the first person says to me, "Hi, are you okay?" I was like, "Yeah, I'm fine. I have an appointment today." And he's like, "But are you all right?" I was like, "Yeah, I'm totally fine." So then the next stop, we go to the nurse for triage. They talk about everything, the weight, the this, the that. And she's looking at me and she's like, "Is everything all right?" I was like, "Everything's totally fine." And she's like, "Your son is so cute. Are you having a stressful day?" And I was like, "Not at all. But thank you for asking." Why? How considerate. And I couldn't figure out what is going on. I couldn't figure it out. So then speed forward to speaking to the doctor, and she's looking at me like, did you do drugs? I'm like, "No, I don't do that. Do you drink?" I was like, No. She's like, did you smoke weed? I'm like, "No." Like, what kind of question is that? I'm like, and my little son's right there. I'm like, "No, I'm totally drug free. Hello, I live that type of life." And then I'm just trying to think, maybe it's in the report. She's asking a question. So then I was like, "Oh, you know what? I forgot to fast for my blood work." So she's like, "Okay, come back tomorrow for your blood work and try to get a good night's sleep." I was like, wow, how encouraging. I don't know what the hell's going on. So we leave, then we go to our appointments, and I have to run all my little errands. And then finally, creme de la creme, we're going to Dunkin' Donuts for the little baby. And we get there, and the Dunkin' Donuts gentleman is in the front, and he's, I'm like, "Let me get a pink donut for my son with frosting and sprinkles." And he was like, "You look like you're having a rough day. Do you want a small coffee?" And I was like, "Having a great day. I don't know what's going on." But I was like, "Sure." He was like, "On me." I was like, "Oh, on you? Well, I do have that type of charm." So I go home, and I'm like, "Oh, I got a free coffee. I feel great." Go upstairs, and now I'm like, I gotta log into my computer because I gotta finish some posts on I'm in school right now. I'm doing my MBA. I gotta do some posts regarding the discussion boards. So on top of my computer, I have a rear view mirror. I put that there because sometimes when I'm on a Zoom or a meeting chat, my kids walk in and I'm like, "Guys, be quiet." I look in my rear view mirror, and guess what I see? All black scratches on my face because those glasses that I'm wearing today are the black and white glasses that I wore as Day of the Dead, and all the black makeup that I thought I wiped off was apparently still there, and it left these weird lines because sometimes I put my glasses on my forehead, sometimes I put them on the tip of my nose as I'm reading, and then with the mask, it gets so foggy, I take off my glasses and I sometimes hold it in my mouth or I put it in my shirt. I had black all over my face, lines, different lines. It looked like Ash Wednesday gone completely berserk. And then, not to mention, I had my normal little side frizzies. I looked crazy. And I was driving around different towns and different stores. No wonder. Oh my God. I couldn't believe it. And I told this story to family, and they were like, "Why didn't you look in the mirror?" I make a point, and this is the craziest thing. Talking about mishaps. I make a point that, Fanny, don't be vain. Sometimes you're walking in the street and you pass a window and you look at your reflection. I never do that. I will never, vampires don't have reflections. Just kidding. I never look to see if I have how I look. I say to myself in my home, "You look great, be positive, be confident, go." Because I feel like that's an insecurity when I constantly have to look in the mirror. And the other thing I do is I never touch my face. I just don't touch my face. I don't want acne. And, sometimes I get little weird hair bumps, and I just don't want to create a acne issue. And so with COVID, I'm the perfect person. I never touch my face. I just won't. And then at the end of the day, I come home and my forehead's usually oily because I have a T-zone, and I clean it up with my, different astringents and, elixirs. Anywho, I looked in the mirror. I could not believe it. that none of my children said, hey mom, something's up with your face. Not even the baby. The baby kept looking at me the whole day, and I said to him, why did you tell me? He's like, I don't know about your makeup, mom. I don't know what you're doing. And I just looked at him like, you just trust your mom that whatever I do, it's correct? And he was like, yeah. So that was my most recent mishap, and I have to take a moment back. Let's go back for a second. Was it embarrassing? Yes. Then I had to face the music the next day and get my blood work done and go back in there and face everyone. Like, okay, today I rested. I'm not crazy today. And, I have to laugh at myself. I need to laugh at myself. This is the thing. We have these mishaps and we get so worked up, so angry about it for no good reason. And like this morning, my dog, he's still training on going outside. And yes, he poops and pees outside, but this morning he pooped and I picked it all up, but I must have missed one spot and my son stepped on it and he flipped out. And I was like, dude, I'm going to clean it. Relax. It's okay. Let's not make this the moment today where we peak. No one died. It's totally okay. And so we got to learn that mishaps will happen. But how do we encourage ourselves to get through it, right? Like when we're in traffic and people are raging in traffic, take a deep breath. Like there's no need. My grandma used to always say, oh, well, if you want to get there on time, leave 5 minutes earlier. And me and my husband have this thing that we're always on time. Like we are always on time to the point that we end up being places 5 minutes early. Yesterday, we went somewhere and we were late. And you know what? There was nothing we can do about it. It wasn't necessarily our fault. And normally I'll own up and say, you know what? It's me. I was doing. No, we did everything we were supposed to do. It just took longer than it should. And with that said, we ended up being late somewhere and it was an inconvenience to other people. And, we apologize. I'm so sorry. Hi, we love you. We're late. We cannot control that, but we can't be late every single time. Every single time when we go somewhere, I don't want people to think, oh, they're going to be late. No, we're always on time. We're reliably always on time. It's almost sickening. I show up 5 minutes early. I'm like, oh goodness, I have to wait 5 minutes to get in. But that's the thing. Things happen. You have to prepare mentally for it. So I went back to the hospital the next day and I fasted, did not eat, and I went to get my blood work done. I walk in and I'm like, good morning. And the guy's like, oh, wow, you look so much better today. I was like, really? Really? And I looked at him and I was like, why didn't you tell me, sir, that I don't know, that I had something on my face? Now we know each other. We know each other for 2 days now. I met you yesterday. Why didn't you say anything? He was like, look, you came in, you was a hot mess. And I wasn't going to say anything. I was like, well, she's going through something. And you had your kid with you? He was well behaved, but I was like, maybe she's going through something. And I was like, for me, and maybe this is just who I am. One time I was walking down the street and this lady smiled and she was like, I love your bag. And I was like, oh, thank you. I said, listen, hey, by the way, between me and you, your skirt is tucked in incorrectly. Fix your skirt. She's like, oh, thank you. We keep walking. And maybe I'm bold to do that. Like how many times I have said, you got a poppy seed, right? Nope, right there. Nope, other tooth. How many times have I called it out? And maybe that's just my demeanor. And I'm not trying to hurt anyone. I'm not trying to be rude. But I will call it out on everyone. Like, girl, you got lipstick on your teeth. You got a piece of corn on your chin. Like, I will always... I get annoyed when people correct the way I speak. Like, if I'm saying something like this new video game. I'm like, amongst us. They're like, no, it's among us. I'm like, but I like saying amongst us. I get it. I get corrected too. And that annoys me. So maybe I'm annoying other people. But... what I don't want to happen is that you're walking around and you're living your best life and later on you look back and there's a moment like this. I just feel like I always have to say something, but I'm not loud and I'm discreet. I'll tell you what, I used to have a friend that had the most horrible breath. The most horrible breath that his nose was a liar. His nose would allow him to wake up in the morning and never tell him. His nose would never be like, hey, yo, down below, something's not right. His nose would never say anything. So when I would see him, I would say, hey, how are you? And I loved him so much. And I would give him a piece. Hey, you want some gum? I'll have some gum. Want some gum? I would have the gum. He would have the gum. But you know what he would do? He would take the gum and put it in his pocket. I'm going to say it for later. I was like, whoa, he's marinating in it. Like, you ever eat a delicious garlic knot and you're like, yo, My breath is garlicky right now, but it's a good garlic. Okay, that wasn't this moment. He was savoring in his flavoring. And I was like, no, take that gum from your pocket and throw it in that trap right there. Let some explosions happen with mint. You need some mint explosions. So I never called him out on it. He would just constantly put the gum in his pocket. I was like, well, maybe he doesn't like try it in mint. Let me try winter flavor. Let me try bubblegum mint. I don't know. And I would always try different things. So it wasn't until time had passed that he had told me he had an internal issue. He confided in me. And I was like, oh my God. He was like, and sometimes my breath smells like bile. And I was like, really? And he was like, you never noticed it? And then he looked at me like friend to friend. And I was like, actually, that's why I've been giving you gum. And he was like, yeah, I knew that was why. But I can't eat the gum because it just makes it worse. And so, who the hell am I to make this person, go through confession? But it's a mishap. I consider it a mishap. It's not a coincidence, coinky dinky. This is a mishap. This is when something happens that, one, I'm just trying to be polite, but two, he can't control it. But what does he do? He looks forward and moves forward. Listen, I have seizures, right? Sometimes I have a seizure in front of people and I'm laughing, crying. I'm like slurring my speech. All of a sudden my leg goes numb. I can't control it. My body starts shaking. And then I come to it. I'm like, hey guys. And they look at me like, well, are you just going to go about life? I got to go about life. I got to pick up the pieces, pick myself up, move on. The other thing is, I've mentioned I have a diabetes issue. I have dumping syndrome, diabetes. And the problem with that is when I have sugar, and it could be the most innocent thing. Someone can say, hey, you want this little piece of pie? I made it light on sugar. And then I have it, and then I have an issue where I faint because my body cannot handle it. And it happens with alcohol, sugars, even fruit and breads and rich foods. And I can't control my reaction. So the truth that happens is I eat it, and then all of a sudden my whole face gets hot, like I'm about to faint. I don't feel my legs, and I pass out. Just like that, I pass out. And then I wake up, and usually people say, well, you had a good rest. How you feeling? But it's not a good rest. I wake up feeling intoxicated or hungover or sick. And even when the situation comes up, it's a mishap because we went to go have barbecue the other day. Barbecue on the side of the road. Let me just mention, it was delicious. And I'm eating the barbecue and everyone's like, oh, it's mainly vinegar, so you shouldn't have a reaction. We get in the car ride home, I pass out. And not only do I pass out, like I pass out to a point where I can't control it. My head flings back. And my sons are like, oh, maybe there was sugar. I get home, I can't even feel my feet, but I'm trying to get in the house. And this is something I could have controlled. But honestly, they were like, no, it's mainly vinegar, light and sugar. I trusted that I'd be okay. So, what do you do? Well, this is what I say. This is the remedy to all these things that happen, all these craziness, all these crazy things that happen. And I'm going to give you one more example, then I'm going to tell you what I do. Here's the one more example. Actually, we're going to take a break. We're going to come right back, and then I'm going to tell you. I'm so sorry to do that to you. We'll be right back. That wasn't such a long break. That wasn't so bad. Don't complain. That wasn't a mishap. It was an intentional commercial break. Anywho, so the one last thing. Well, here's the one last example that I kind of hinted in the beginning. You ever walking down the street, there's millions of people out, and the bird poops on your head, and you're like, did a bird just poop on me? There's a million people right now in New York City, and the bird pooped on me. Was I wearing a hat? Did it go on my hat? No, it went right on my hair. Oh my God, this is disgusting. Okay. Maybe you've been through it. Maybe you haven't. It's kind of like getting struck by lightning. It's like 1,000,001. Maybe you did. Maybe you didn't. Okay. So let me tell you what I do. And this is an investment to myself. Okay. You could take it or leave it. Whenever something crazy or a mishap happens, and I consider like the embarrassing mishap, that moment, I take a deep breath and I say, I'm going to go buy a lotto card. This sounds crazy. I know it sounds crazy. But the lotto card is like $1, right? It's $1 investment. Figure the dollar. Now, if you have a mishap all the time, every single week, this may get expensive. So I don't know if this is for you. But if you're not someone who regularly plays lotto, who maybe doesn't want to gamble or take a risk, I get it. But if you're just the average person who's like, yeah, why not? When something happens and it's 1,000,000 to 1 and it's an unlucky event, I believe in karma, and I believe putting karma to work. So if something happens to me that's unlucky, how do I fight back to the universe? I go play lotto, because one, if I lose, the money goes to my state, great. Let them use the funds for whatever they need to use it for. Let it go to the next lotto. In my head, it's kind of paying it forward, kind of. But if I win, well, there you go. I feel like I achieved mishap reward, right? And I'm always about rewards, right? Rewards and recognition. And so let me tell you something that's so crazy. And this may not happen to you, but it happens to me. Usually when I play the lotto, I win $2. I don't know what that's about. I always win $2. It's the craziest. If I play like a quick pick, if I play my regular lotto, usually I play regular lotto, I play the first week of the month, and I have my numbers, my specific lucky chosen numbers that were handed down to me from my grandfather to my mother to me. So I play these numbers, and I always do. It's like once a month, okay? So that's a $12 investment for the year. But when I have a mishap, I go and I buy a lotto ticket. I always get the Powerball, and I win $2. It's like the craziest thing, and it's the chance. Sometimes, let me tell you, sometimes I don't win. And that's okay. I mean, I'm not going to die over $1. But I take the mishap because of that negative energy. I'm going to play lotto tonight. I'm going to go play lotto tonight. I'm going to go play my lotto tonight. Can't believe this happened to me. That was embarrassing. Going to go play lotto. That's my attitude on it. Because if you take this negative accident, mishap, circumstances that happens to you, and you're like, you don't know what happened to me today. Guess what? I was driving and my coffee spilled. Okay, yeah, it happens to everyone. Don't wallow. Don't sit in the funk. Step out of it. Own your moment. Own that moment. Yeah, that happened to me and it was hilarious. Could you believe I spilled coffee all over my... It's funny when you tell it to someone in a different light, people will normally be like, man, too bad for you, guy. That happens to all of us, right? I went outside and the rain was so crazy. I'm soaking wet. My umbrella broke. It happens. But the more that you take the emphasis to be negative on yourself, you carry that burden and you walk around saying, yo, these terrible things happened to me this week. First, my heel broke on my favorite shoes. Then I was soaking wet. Then the coffee spilled. Oh my gosh. I worry. This poor person. Where's the next thing you're going to fall into a grave? You got to cheer up. You got to cheer up because you are attracting negative energy. And I'm telling you this right now as I'm standing in my kitchen looking out the window and the beautiful sun is shining through my window and I'm alive. Right? Every morning, I wake up and I say, oh, I'm alive. Thank you, God. Another day to survive. Another day to get through that hustle. Go ahead and put my muscle to the rustle. That's what I say every morning because I'm excited. Because, you know, my family kicks the bucket kind of young. And, idiom, kicks the bucket kind of young. And I want to be alive to see my great-great-great-grandchildren. The other day I saw a post and it was 6th generation. Mother. I was like, that's your mother's 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 mother? And I was like, well, let me do the math on this. No, I'm kidding. I didn't do the math. But I was just like, wow. I'm the last of my generation in my line on both sides. Wow. Wouldn't that be great if I could know my child's child? What kind of, first of all, they would be annoyed by my stories all the time. But how do I increase my life? Being positive. Finding the positive moments. That is what will make me genuinely less stressed out. The other day I told my husband, should we stress over this? He was like, nah, it's not worth it. We're not those type of people. And I was like, yeah, we're not like that. We're positive. That's right. You know, yes, I get angry. Yes, I scream. Yes, I yell. Yes, I get mad at crazy things that happen. But Etch-a-sketch, shake that sucker out and get to positive energy. So, mishaps. You cannot control them, right? Because they mistakenly happen. But what can you do? You can own those moments. And maybe you reward yourself. Maybe every time a mishap happens, I'm going to buy myself a brand new scrunchie. Whatever it is you do that will make you feel good. Like I have a friend. She has these little Godiva chocolate things in a can. So I went out and I bought it because I was like, I'm going to try this out. And when I went there, oh, wait, I want to tell you about that real quick. Wait, I'm going to tell you about that right now, actually. I went to the mall the other day. And then I'll go back to my friend. Well, for my friend, every time she feels great, she eats one. That girl has crazy control because I would eat the whole can. But she eats one. But she kept telling me about it. And I was like, oh, I want to get that from Godiva. So I went to the mall the other day. And I went into the Godiva store with my kids. And the stores were so bare. There was nothing in inventory. So yes, you're open. This is great. But what are you selling? How are you making money? How are you going to survive? I mean, Christmas, you got to have more inventory. So I'm in my head, I walk in and I'm like, oh my goodness. So I get to the cashier and I'm like, you know what? Let me get one of these chocolates right here. Because I didn't see the can at first. That's why I came in the store to get that little chocolate can. And he was like, oh, do you have a phone number? What's your rewards? And then I was like, yeah. And he was like, oh, you have a birthday reward that you've never used and it's going to expire. I was like, ooh, if I use it, will that hurt your store? He was like, no, it will act as a sale to my store. I was like, okay, let's use it. And I was like, how much is it? He's like, $10. I was like, well, I came in for this chocolate. He's like, oh, it's right here. He shows me my little can. And then I'm like, let me get this, let me get that, let me get this, right? I didn't go crazy. I might have spent $14, whatever. And then my birthday reward or whatever. But here's the point. When I went in there for a purpose to get that little chocolate mint. And I put that little chocolate's going to stand by my computer at my desk upstairs. So I cannot have sugar like I mentioned, but like one little chocolate circle will not kill me. So I'll take that as a sweet little reward. When I feel good, I'm going to have a little chocolate reward. That's what that's for, to reward myself. But when I went into that store, he was like, why are you buying so much stuff? That's what the guy at the register said to me. And I started laughing. I was like, he was like, are you buying this stuff because I just told you you have a reward? I'm like, sir, your store is empty and I got to help my community. I can't see you go under. You go under, the next store will go under. We'll lose this mall and we'll lose these businesses. We have to help our community. And he was like, oh my God, you just made my day. What did I do right there? I didn't spend a lot of money. I transferred positive energy. Yes, this is like mishaps again. Goes with mistaken things that happen. When you walk around, woe is you, that negative energy, woe is me, Jane. Jane's like, oh yeah, it's terrible. You know what happened, Tom? Woe is me. And then there goes the domino effect of the woes. However, if you own the mistake that happened, if you own the event that challenged your day, that made you not feel great, and you take that negative energy and you divide it by 2, carry the 1, and just turn it into a positive. That was just not real math, by the way, if you're trying to figure that out at home. But if you take that negative energy and you turn it into a positive, guess what do? You change everybody around you. Even your dog is like, oh, I could be petted now. She's approachable. Everything changes because you put the first positive foot forward and you then took that positive moment and you owned your karma. You owned it. Will a mistake happen again? Will a mishap happen? Absolutely. You can't predict every single move, but you can have a positive frame of mind on your journey. This was my journey of Fannytastic Life. Thank you so much for joining and have an amazing day. Talk to you again.